What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how wide receivers can be smooth route runners. So I hope this video helps you guys out. I hope we could teach you a few new things about how you can run your routes in a more smooth manner and make it easier on your quarterback and get more separation from the DB. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like to train with us this offseason, we're going to be traveling out to 15 different states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camps. So if you guys are local to the San Francisco area, that camp is unfortunately sold out, but every single camp after that, Orlando, Florida, New Orleans, Charlotte, Dallas, the DMV, St. Louis, Honolulu, Boston, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles all have open spots available. So check out that very first link in the description below, fellas. We'd love to have you out to one of our camps. Let's get started with this video. So first thing to being a smooth route runner is that when it is zone, when it is off man, you need to run your routes off of steps. So what does that exactly mean? So we're looking at this example here from Odell Beckham Jr., and he is going to be running a 10-yard speed out. So let's play this full speed. So he comes off the ball, and right off of his third inside step, he runs that speed out. So the way this play is drawn up is that it's like an 8 up to 10-yard out. So you would be breaking it 8 yards and kind of rounding it up to 10 and getting flat at 10. So now the common mistake that a lot of wide receivers make is when they don't run smooth routes is that they give away their routes. So they'll be bursting up into the route and they'll be so fixated on breaking it 10 yards or breaking it 8 yards that they will start to look down. They don't have a step count of the amount of steps that they are taking in their head, and that is what limits their route running. So they'll run up, they'll be running full speed, they'll be running hard, but as soon as they get up to like the depth or the break point of this, they start thinking too much about the depth. Their eyes drop. That's also an indicator to a DB, and they start chopping their strides because they don't have the step count. They want to cut right at 8 yards, and if they're not at that specific step, they chop their feet, which gives away the route. Imagine if he's got a DB in zone coverage right here off, and he starts to feel Odell start to chop his feet and slow down because he's trying to break at the perfect spot. That's just an indicator for him to drive on the ball, and I won't get as much separation. So to be able to keep timing with my quarterback, to maintain my stride, I need to have a step count. So you don't want to sit here. So total, the amount of steps that Odell takes on this is 6 steps. So it's a 6-step out. But you see how he goes here? It's 1, 2, then he goes 3, 4, 5, breaks on the 6th step. Now, a lot of people count to 6 when they're running routes like this. You know, like they're running a post route, and let's say it's like a bang 8. They'll count 5 steps and break off of their outside foot. Some people with this speed out, they'll count 6 steps. To me, that's just too many steps to be counting. It's too much to think about. So I would rather count my inside steps. And fellas, trust me, like if you're on a team and you guys don't count steps, when you get to that next level in college, I 1000% guarantee you will have routes where you're counting steps because everything is such timing based. That quarterback is throwing it before your 6th step hits the ground, and it's all based on timing. And we have to get to the depth in the required steps for timing with the quarterback in the entire play. So instead of counting every single step, let's just count my inside steps. So he's up here. You see how he bursts off the ball? He does not count that first step. We're not even thinking about it. We're thinking about the left foot. That's his first inside. Then he goes again, second inside, and we are breaking off of the third inside at 8. I'm ripping my arms out of there to get it 10, to snap my head around and locate that ball. That is a textbook speed out route. Now, to some of you, that might be a kind of a basic thing like, hey, coach, I've been doing that. I understand that. And then some of you guys, that might be brand new information. Trust me, fellas, and you might be thinking, oh, well, counting steps, that's a lot to think about. It gets easier. As you continue to progress, as you continue to get more comfortable at the wide receiver position, counting steps gets very easy. But anytime that it is zone coverage, off-man coverage, I love running my routes off of steps. If you're running like a 12 back to 10-yard curl, 4th outside, you snap down. If you guys have any questions about like routes and what step you would probably break off of, leave those in the comment section below, and I'll answer all of those for you guys. We answer every comment. So if you have questions about like, hey, I haven't run a post at 15 yards, what step do I break off? I'd be glad to help you guys out with that. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Odell showcasing how breaking in stride with counting steps helps you get a lot more smoothness to your routes and get you out of your breaks quicker. So now, one of the next things I want to talk about here is another route from Odell, and he's going to be running a post route with a rocker step. So I'm sure some of you know what a rocker step is. A rocker step is so he's breaking on a post route, and if he's on the right side of the field, obviously his right foot is where he would make that cut at the top of the break and drive off. So instead of just cutting off of his right foot, he would do like a double cut. He would go left and then cut with the right and then break to the post. So it's a way to kind of threaten this DB to the outside like he's running an out route, a corner route, you know, anything outside breaking. So let's play this clip from Odell. He comes off here, 1-2. Now, the reason why this was such a smooth route, the reason why this was very, very like a smooth cut, I guess I should say, is because of where he strikes the ground with his foot. So if you guys want to make smoother cuts, you guys want to get out of your breaks with a little bit more smoothness, focus on striking the ground on the middle arch of your foot. What a lot of wide receivers do, which cause them to be very inconsistent with their cuts, is that they will get too far ahead of themselves. They will be leaning too far forward. Their chest and their head will be past their knees, and they will try to cut on their tippy toes. Now, I'm not saying you don't want to be on the balls of your feet, but to be able to generate power and to generate explosion, you want to be on that middle arch ball of your foot. Because now, since Odell makes this hard cut to the inside, since he's on the middle arch of his foot, he could keep that cut inside of his frame. If you're on your tippy toes, you're probably going to be ahead of yourself. If you strike the ground on your heels, you're probably going to be leaning back. Being able to strike the ground on that middle arch of your foot allows you to push off of that cut and sell the outside move even more. You see how he could throw his hip into the cut. He could actually step. He could threaten this DB's blind spot with this post fake. That is all based on that foot strike. Like, yes, he's got to know the right move to take. Yes, he's got to know when to use this type of move, but the mechanics matter in terms of you getting in and out of the break smoothly. So make sure, fellas, anytime that we make a type of cut, any type of cut, single cut, triple rocker step, double rocker step, we are focused on being on the middle arch ball of my foot. My feet stay inside my frame so I could drive and get some explosion out of there. We don't want to reach. We don't want to strike on the heel. That's not only a way to hurt myself, but that will slow you down. So to make smoother cuts, fellas, make sure we are striking on the middle arch of my foot. Now, reason why he uses this type of move on a post is just to threaten this DB. You see how he's lined up outside shade, eyes are to the inside in zone. He is trying to protect the outside, force everybody inside. So when you have an inside breaking route, you want to go at him. Let's threaten him to the outside with the rocker step, try to get him to widen and run that post with a bigger window so I don't just run into his help. Let's play this thing again, full speed. Great job, Odell, hitting that 1-2, being on that middle arch of the foot, and then driving out. Okay, so now, next thing about running smoother routes, this is going to be a route where Emmanuel Sanders is snapping down. So this is kind of like a stop route, a curl route, a deeper, hitch route, maybe a choice route, but it's mainly just focusing on the hip drop, and that is maintaining your stride. So this has a little bit to do with the last thing we talked about with Odell, and it's being able to cut while you're in stride and drop while you're in stride. So let's play this full speed. So Emmanuel Sanders bursts up, and right on a dime, not a change in stride, not a change in speed, not a change in pad level, he is able to drop in and out of this break and get some separation from this DB. So biggest thing, fellas, the way I think of it is when you're running routes, and let's say, for example, it's not a curl or a stop route. Let's say it's a comeback route. That's an example I like to use. I should be able to take a picture of you at 5 yards and a picture of you at 13 yards, and you should have the same type of pad level. There should be no indicator. There should be no change in pad level. There should be no change in stride. So what makes guys have weak cuts is before they drop down, you see how he's able to just snap down right on that inside foot. It's like he's got a string attached to his chin. Somebody just pulled that string straight down. He just changes levels. He sits in the chair with his butt. He brings his chin to his knee. That's how we decelerate. So many guys, fellas, so many guys reach. They try to over-exaggerate their cuts because they know they need to be explosive right here. They know that they need to snap down. They know that they need to have that explosive drop of their hips. But when you guys reach out with your cuts, like on this cut, instead of him dropping inside of his frame, guys will reach 1.5 yards outside of their frame because they're trying to emphasize it. They're trying to stop themselves. And that's when you reach, your pad level raises because you're striking the ground probably on your heel, like what we talked about. So your weight's going back, not only that. You're off balance because you're on your heels. And when you reach, what does your pad level do? It raises. What is the DB looking at? Our hips. So when our hips raise, he slows down. If you guys can get comfortable breaking in stride just like this from Emmanuel Sanders, you will run you will run much smoother routes. You have to run stride, full speed, drop. It's the hip drop that slows you down. It's sitting in a chair. It's bringing your chin to your knee. If you could do all those things, that will put the brakes on for you, and you could get in and out and make a smooth cut, not drifting, not reaching outside your frame, not slipping, reaching, drifting on routes. All of it comes from stepping outside your frame. Let's stay inside my frame. Use your hips and use the chin to your knee method to get in and out. Now, some of the things that you can do to strengthen this, because this is much easier said than done, is a lot of single leg work in the gym. You got to have stability. You got to have a stable lower half. If you're a guy who's, freaking 80 pounds, but you're a pretty fast guy, you're not going to be able to do these kinds of things without leg strength. So, single leg squats, pistol squats is a single leg squat, but like, what do they call those? Split squats, where you put one foot up on a bench and you squat on one leg. All those one-legged exercises will build that strength to where you can do this, but you need strength and you need stability to be able to do this while running full speed. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Sanders, push and fade, dropping on a dime, staying in stride, and running that smooth route. Okay, so now, next thing I want to talk about here is one clip off the line. This is from Marvin Harrison Jr., and I can't talk about route running without talking about press releases. So how do you get smooth press releases? And honestly, fellas, it's just by committing to press releases. So many guys don't know how to commit to a press release. They don't know how to make it look similar. They don't know how to make it look like something else that they've probably done earlier in the game. So let's watch what Marvin Harrison does here. He does a wide step, crossover inside, and is able to run that goal line fade and get a catch. So what does this exactly look like? This looks like he's just going to do a jab to the outside with his outside foot and then go run a slant. That's what we want to make it look like, fellas. That's what every wide receiver press release should look like. It should look like something else that we've already done. So maybe a couple times in the game, he's done a wide step where he's come off the ball. This DB's like head up. Maybe he's a little bit shaded to the outside. We do a wide step release and then take the inside release, go run a slant, maybe get vertical, run a post, whatever it is. So now we want to make it look the same because that's what gets in his head. That's what makes me smooth off the line. He does a wide step, a little hezzy move, and then he does an inside crossover. He sells hips and shoulders. He's pushing off of his foot. His feet stay inside of his frame, just like the last example, mechanically, but it looks the same. Wide step, crossover inside. It builds. This is a very creative way to build off of the wide step. Because what a lot of guys will do is they'll just do a wide step and push off of it and throw one jab back to the inside with the right foot. They'll just do a 1-2. That's totally fine. That's not wrong, but this is just another way to do it. You give a little, and again, it's a slower paced release for a slower paced play. Maybe the quarterback's doing a little bit of a play action. Maybe he knows he's going to hang for a second, the quarterback, so the receiver has a little bit more time to work the release. So he comes off the ball, 1, hesitate, 1-2. Left, hesitate, left, right. Just to threaten the inside, trying to get this DB to crash. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. So fellas, to be smooth off that line, you got to pair your releases together and make them look the same. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like to come out and train with us in 15 different states this off season, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out. We'd love to have some members of our YouTube community out to our camps. I'll see you guys next time.